Hey guys, it's Tombox here coming at you with the deck profile for Vendread. This is I believe post Code of the Duelist. There isn't too much I can really cover about this deck that other people haven't already covered, but this is my build variant. I've tested this for a good 4 hours after taking a serious amount of losses, not remembering how to play rituals and how to actually gain advantage using zombies. After I combined the two and altering the deck a lot, and this is actually the build I've come up with so far. Maybe I'll revisit it during circuit break. Now before I go into the list, just a heads up for the guys that were part of the giveaways. The giveaway winners that I have announced now, I have sent you guys an email already. If you guys haven't got my email yet, well, please do check your email if you participated in this giveaway so you can get yourself a nice free cloth mat. There's 2 winners, so alright, now that that is out of the way, let's go into the deck list. The deck list starts off with some hand traps. Maxi is Maxi, and let's not talk about him. Ash Blossom Joy Spring, aside from, deck synergy interruption, she's also a zombie. A zombie tuner is very much welcome in this deck, although Reaper could be following in the same case, but Ash Blossom is much more generic, hand trap wise, and the revival will be useful. Next up, Triple Mizuki, the monster reborn of all zombie decks. I actually contemplated running Book of Life, but Book of Life isn't exactly good going first because your opponent needs to have a monster in their graveyard for you to revive anything. Mizuki kind of just overpowers it. I am considering running Gozuki in the deck if I can get Gozuki in there, because Gozuki just gives you a free mill. But then, you know what other monster gives you a free mill? We have, of course, Zombie. We'll get to that after. Now we're in a pair of Goblin Zombie. Goblin Zombie, the Sanguine of all zombie monsters with 1200 defense or less. Very good card, although it is a bit slow. I'm not gonna lie, it is a little slow running Goblin Zombie. It is not the most effective, but once you have him in the graveyard, once you start spamming him, his search is not once returned, and that is the one part that you always want to abuse off of a zombie master. And it also synergizes with the Shiranui Swallow Slash. When you use it, Goblin Zombie on the Swallow Slash, and then you banish a Shiranui Spirit Master, as a part of that effect, you blow up 2 cards on the field, 1 face-up card from the Spirit Master, and the Goblin Zombie, well, gives you an additional search for any of your zombie monsters. So that is a huge advantage play if you do get it off. And since people are running less and less counter traps or things that are unaffected by traps, this can blow up a lot of back row and catch people by surprise and set up your next play, which is why I'm running Goblin Zombie. And Goblin Zombie isn't exactly too bad. If your opponent has to kill it, well, they basically have to give you whatever you need with utility, the ability to search. Next up, I run a pair of Spirit Master from the Shiranui line. The Shiranui line, I originally only ran 1 Spirit Master in triple solitaire. That, I believe, was a mistake for the Vendread, because the Vendread actually synergizes a bit better with the graveyard, thanks to the Vendread Origin ritual spell, because like, I believe, Necros Mirror, you can actually banish material from the graveyard, and just because of that, you can actually abuse more of your Shiranui effects, especially Spirit Master. Spirit Master was already abused by Fairy Tale Snow previously, getting a monster on board, booking a monster, and popping a face-up card. Similar idea here, where if you do perform a ritual summon, or if you use the Vendread Slayer's effect during the battle phase, you can actually get some advantage here in popping some cards off of your opponent's side of the field. So aside from that, it is also very good to actually normal summon this card, especially when you do abuse Sage a lot in this deck. By Sage, I mean Solitaire. You abuse Solitaire, so you're in triple Solitaire, best opening, best mid-game, best late-game, because it goes into basically any of the cards you need. And by any of the cards you need, I mainly just mean Unizombie. Unizombie, this is your fetcher for Unizombie, and this is the 1 card Omega, of course. And, well, moving on to the Vendread stuff, we have Vendread Hound Horde. This is the TCG exclusive, and this is also the promo card. You better have an ultra rare copy of this. I'm running 2 of these right now. Why 2 of the Hound Horde? Like all the Vendread stuff, it pains me to say, but I actually don't like how the Vendread stuff works. Vendread Hound Horde, Vendread Revenant, I don't like them. At least Hound Horde has the ability, the effect, to summon itself out when needed, and you can always throw a copy of the Vendread Slayer into the graveyard, since the ritual spell can ritual summon out of the graveyard, so that's the advantage there. And you can also use graveyard zombies as material. So it's like, it's got the both Cycle and Necros Mirror kind of eaten into one for the ritual spell. But why do I only play 2 of these guys, and why am I not running any of the other guys? Well, because this one has high defense, so it's not searchable. That's unfortunate, but this one is much more generic in terms of the effect gained onto Slayer. It is one switch, a quick effect, so I guess with an interaction of between your turn and your opponent's turn, you can banish up to 2 spell and trap cards. It's a quick effect, so it's kind of hard to dodge. And quick effect, spell, trap, banishing is one of the effects that are trending right now because of Cosmic Cyclone. You don't want to hit the stuff that activates in the graveyard, such as the True Draco stuff. You don't want to hit an artifact. This proves to be the safest way to go. So this card's pretty good, and it gives you the control timing. Why am I not running the Beat Stick? The Beat Stick, the Revenants down here. Revenants, why am I not running this guy? It's because, sure, he is a Beat Stick, but you don't really get to control when you get to summon him out. In other words, your opponent is in total control, playing around this card, and that's why he's not very good. You might consider siding him if your opponent doesn't run a lot of special summon monster. And the thing is, one of the things that I find weakest about the Vendread, I guess the ritual material monsters, is that you can't really get their effects unless they are on the field, and that is the biggest weakness. And if your opponent can control whether or not this card is on the field, that actually puts a dent in your plans quite a bit, because it's very easy to interrupt you from ritual summoning, and especially the material, like, it needs to be on the field, and even the one engraved doesn't count, so you're pretty screwed there. You might just get a vanilla Beat Stick, which is not very good. And of course, you run triple Slayer. Don't forget that when the Slayer is killed, you do get to mill a copy of whatever Vendread card into your graveyard, and you could add the ritual spell to your hand. Next up for the spell lineup, we have Allure of Darkness. I think I could just replace this with whatever I want, because honestly, you don't exactly have a lot of dark targets that you want to get rid of. Maybe a copy of Hound Horde, maybe a copy of Goblin Zombie, maybe even Slayer, because Slayer can be summoned out from graveyard. But overall, like, you can actually search out some of your search target with the preparation of rites or pre-prep, so it's okay. So moving on, we have Instant Fusion. I run 2 copies of a fusion monster. I run Flame Ghost, which is a level 3 zombie, and I also run Theseus because it's tuner. And depending on the line of play I'm going down, I can use this as a flexibility or get it as additional tribute fodder for my ritual summons. So there's that. And Theseus, I don't know, could come up handy if you somehow have a Theseus and a Maxi and your opponent's just that ahead. You might as well make a Black Rose and try to blow up the board, or at least burn some resources off of your opponent. And next up, we have Triple Preparation, right? The card that you want to see every opening hand is Pre-Prep, because it gives you your engine right away. One of the best opening hands would be with Pre-Prep plus a Shiranui Solitaire. That is one of the best way to start, because you get your Omega and you get your Vendread stuff available and ready. Next up, we have Soul Charge, because Soul Charge can revive a bunch of stuff. There's nothing to talk about there. Foolish Burial is just generically good in all variations of zombie decks. And then we have Preparation of Rites. Although this is more of a mid-game card, you can use it to search the Slayer, because the Slayer is not a level 7 or higher monster, I guess. So in other words, you can always search your ritual monster at the very least. If you have a ritual spell in the graveyard, you can retrieve that, because you only have so many of these. And these cards can get banished because these do contain a protection effect. The Vendread Origin. Vendread Origin is a pretty decent card, I'm not gonna lie. Just because this ritual spell is like Cycle and Mirror, Necros Cycle, Necros Mirror, kind of built into one. It can banish graveyard monsters as materials for this ritual summon. And I guess on top of that, they can also summon out the Vendread Slayer from the graveyard. So, and that's an actual proper ritual summon, so that's pretty good. But on top of that, it is also a protection spell where if your monster is going to be destroyed, you can banish this card from the graveyard instead. So overall, very good. Especially when the Slayer, whenever the Slayer is destroyed, or not destroyed, but sent to the graveyard after he's been ritual summoned, what happens there is, once he's sent to the graveyard, he'll mill an additional copy of a Vendread card and add another copy of the Vendread Origin into your hand. And hold on, let's see what happens here. We got double Cosmic Cyclone, just because it's kind of standard to kind of run these right now. Too much True Draco stuff going on. And we have Burial from a different dimension. Burial, zombie monsters, Bazooki. Once you have this stuff kind of going, Burial just becomes one of your best friends, and it is a quick play spell, so you can use it to bait your opponent if you don't think you're going to use it this turn. So there's that advantage too. So I'll say, oh, Twin Twister, well, you hit one card that basically refueled my Mizukis, so you don't exactly get that advantage of getting a plus. And into the trap line, I'm running a pair of Shiranui style Swallow Slash, just because Goblin Zombie is a thing that's very useful and turns all your zombies into basically an Icarus attack. So at least it's a 2-for-2. Can like make it so that your opponent and yourself are playing a low resource game, except unless you use Goblin Zombie or Mizuki, then it's not exactly a low resource game because you didn't exactly lose anything. And normally when you activate this card, you could potentially even revive one of your Spirit Masters if you throw away the Solitaire, or if you throw away the Spirit Master, you can pop an additional card. There's that advantage. I'm running Solemn Brigade. And to the extra deck now, we have one Flame Ghost, we have one Sea Monster of Theseus, we have one Star Eater, mainly because it is a very awkward level. Sometimes you do just get an awkward level when it comes to using Uni-Zombie, so I'm just giving myself that option. Triple Psyframe Lord Omega because you can spam Omega. This deck is more of an Omega deck more than anything. He is your bread and butter. And as for level 7s, we have a Clearwing Synchro Dragon. I have a Psyframe Lord Zeta. I think I can probably take this guy out. Not very important. Black Rose is much more important because you want to blow up the board. We have one Coral Dragon and one Stardust Charge Warrior. So much Synchros because the deck is currently focused on Synchroing. As for Xyz from rank 4s, we have Tornado Dragon, Castell, Digestor Emerald, and Abyss Dweller. Probably not going to run any links until I figure out that they have better monsters for links. Now, as for the stuff that I'm not running Vendread Reorigin. This is the trap card that is a removal, a monster removal. Why am I not running this card? It's honestly not that bad of a card, except for that the token eats up too much. It sets a strong restriction where you cannot normal or special summon anything other than a Vendread monster, and that to me is insanely painful. That really hurts. That means you can never advance your place, you can never go on the aggression while that token is there. In other words, you need to be able to basically summon out the Slayer at the at your earliest convenience, basically. And without it, you'll be stuck. If you're using this as like a trap, why don't you just use these instead? These are just much better removals. For now. For now. I'm just saying for now just because who knows what Circuit Break offers. And I'm not running Revenants because Revenants is kind of like not in your control. You can use it maybe when you're going first, but then when you're going first, you're not really dealing with your opponent's special summon monsters yet. I guess it's pretty decent if you do put it out a Slayer that has the ability to destroy, or sorry, not destroy, but banish a special summon monster. But that being said, that is only if they don't deal with your monster first. If they kaiju you, it's gone over anyway. So, and this Kai is just not really that easy to revive. So, you know, there's that problem. Because, like, sure, your opponent destroys it by battle. You know, if you read it by the card text and you follow the instructions, sure, it seems easy. But smarter players will definitely play around. Now I'll go into the thoughts about what I think about this deck. Right now, I honestly think it is just not good enough. It is too slow. Definitely not good enough, and it is too slow. And the playability is not even that easy. Mainly because the #1 flaw about the deck is that the Hound Hordes and the Revenants, all the stuff that make your Vendread Slayer good, they're hard to play with, and they're exceptionally slow. It's like, it's even better just to play the Omega stuff without the Vendreads, for the most part. That being said, the Vendread stuff do offer a lot to the table if you can actually just ritual out with a Hound Horde. It basically gives you the back row removal that you need, and it is, since it is a quick effect, therefore you can banish a lot of spells and traps, therefore taking care of a lot of like traps or spells that could potentially throw a wrench in your plans. That part is very good. Revenants usually does, right now it's actually not very good because there's not exactly too many decks that overly works on special summoning. A lot of decks do use it, and if they can spam that much, you can't really use Revenant to kind of answer all your problems. That is a fact. And most of these guys already have quick effects anyways. Like if you were trying to use this on a Ultimate Conductor Tyranno, he'll just be like, oh, well, I'll still flip all your dudes face down and you're still pretty dead now. And you see what I mean? Like there's just not too much, and then if you're playing True Dracos, you can't even banish them. That card's just not good enough, and it's just obviously a bit too slow. And the trap is just... it's a decent trap. I'm gonna give you that. It's a pretty decent trap if there's more synergy with the deck. I'm hoping that Circuit Breaker can actually fix this, because right now it is very hard to play this deck without a sub-engine played along with it. It's just there's just not enough cards. It's not like BK. BK came out kicking very, very hard. All their main monsters that came out, basically most of them were touched by the ban list at some point, and it was devastating. But when it comes to this deck, it's just kind of lackluster. It's a bit lackluster, to be honest. But some of the amazing things that you can do with this deck is that you can go into... I believe you can go into triple Omega if you have a Soul Charge. You can set up pretty well if you know how to manage your Shiranui monsters. I'll show you guys one replay at the end of this where it's against a Fluffle deck. It's not the most ideal. I opened with 1 Omega and then that was it. I almost got myself killed, but I'll let you see the rest to it of how did I actually end up with triple Omega on the field without the Soul Charge. But if you know how to like manipulate your Shiranuis very well, you can actually definitely get the maximum advantage and probably pop off a lot more stuff with it. But this is my build. What do you guys think? Go ahead and try it out. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you like this video, please drop us a like so we know we are doing a good job, and you can also subscribe to MST.TV for more fantastic videos by clicking on the button on the left. Don't forget to check out our partners at Imperium Duelist. They make really high quality mats, including some of my own limited edition release stuff. And if you want to check out one of our past videos, click here on the right. As always, don't forget to hold on to your MST.TV, and I'll see you next time.